In the heart of a dense, ancient forest, there lived a lonely and misunderstood spirit. Unbeknownst to the unsuspecting travelers who passed through, the spirit was drawn to the energy they brought with them. Yearning for a physical form and human connection, the spirit would lure them off the road with beguiling whispers and alluring promises. Once the travelers had strayed from the safety of the path, the forest spirit would reveal its true form, captivating them with its ethereal beauty. In their mesmerized state, the travelers would follow the spirit deeper into the forest, where the thickets grew denser and the ground grew softer. They stumbled through the shadows, lost and disoriented, guided only by the spirit's haunting melodies. As the travelers wandered deeper into the heart of the forest, they would find themselves engulfed in a swamp, their feet sinking into the murky depths with every step. Some would become hopelessly trapped, sinking further and further until they were swallowed by the mire. Others would be ensnared in the thorny underbrush, their cries for help muffled by the relentless embrace of the forest. And all the while, the forest spirit would revel in the dark satisfaction of its twisted desires, feeding on the fear and desperation of its unwitting victims. It would dance among the shadows, its laughter echoing through the trees as it reveled in the chaos it had wrought. But what the forest spirit didn't realize was that not all who wandered into its domain were as helpless as they seemed. One traveler, with a heart hardened by loss and a spirit unyielding to the enchantments of the forest, would not be so easily ensnared. And as the spirit set its sights on this unfortunate soul, little did it know that it had met its match. One traveler, a hardened and experienced adventurer, had been searching for the spirit, drawn by the tales of its deceptions and the disappearances of countless others. They were determined to confront the forest spirit and put an end to its malevolent ways. As the spirit approached, its alluring facade began to falter in the face of the traveler's resilience. A fierce battle of wills ensued, as the traveler resisted the seductive temptations and fought against the spirit's attempts to ensnare them. The forest itself seemed to come alive, the trees twisting and contorting as if to aid the spirit in its malevolent intentions. As they struggled, the forest spirit realized that this was no ordinary traveler. It was a formidable adversary, one that could not be easily outwitted. Desperation flashed in the spirit's eyes as it summoned all its dark powers in a final, desperate attempt to vanquish the unwavering traveler. But little did it know that the traveler had a secret of their own, a talisman of protection, passed down through generations, holding ancient magic that had the potential to quell the spirit's sinister machinations. The air crackled with palpable tension as the traveler unleashed the power of the ancient talisman. And with a deafening roar, the forest spirit was banished, forced to retreat back to the shadows from whence it came. And as the dim light of the forest returned, the weary traveler emerged victorious, their spirit unbroken, and a newfound peace settled over the once treacherous woods. As the forest spirit vanished, the traveler let out a heavy sigh of relief. The once oppressively dense atmosphere of the forest lightened, the malevolent energy dissipating into the air. As they turned back toward the path, the traveler knew that the dangers of the forest were not yet over, but they were determined to ensure that no more travelers would fall victim to the spirit's sinister ways. The traveler continued to explore the forest, seeking out the lingering remnants of the spirit's influence and striving to cleanse the woods of its dark presence. With each step, they encountered lost souls who had fallen prey to the spirit, and with compassion in their heart, the traveler guided them back to safety, leading them out of the labyrinthine thicket and treacherous swamp, back to the comforting embrace of the familiar trails. Together with the rescued souls, the traveler uncovered forgotten ruins and hidden sanctuaries within the forest, places where nature's magic still thrived untainted by the spirit's corruption. They sought out ancient wisdom from the forest's guardians, spirits of light and purity who had long been overshadowed by the malevolent force now banished. The traveler learned the old ways, nature's secrets, and how to protect the innocent from falling victim to the forest's darker inhabitants. Through their unwavering determination and newfound knowledge, the traveler ultimately transformed the haunted forest into a sanctuary once more, a place where the weary and lost could find solace instead of peril. And as they continued their journey, the forest whispered its gratitude through rustling leaves and murmuring streams, carrying echoes of the treacherous past now vanquished. Yet, despite the newfound peace, the realm still held secrets, ancient forces that even the traveler's vigilance could not entirely dispel. The traveler knew that the remnants of darkness lingered in the depths of the forest, hidden in the recesses where only the bravest dared to venture. Even as they continued to cleanse and protect the woods, the traveler couldn't shake the feeling that there were forces at play beyond their understanding, ancient and powerful entities that had yet to reveal themselves. As they delved deeper into the heart of the forest, the traveler encountered signs of a looming threat, cryptic messages and eerie omens that spoke of an impending darkness. The once familiar trails grew increasingly treacherous, and the whispers of the trees carried a weight of impending doom. Amidst the ancient trees, the traveler found remnants of an old prophecy, warnings of an age-old conflict between light and shadow, spoken in forgotten dialects and etched onto stones older than memory. The prophecy told of an impending reckoning, a confrontation between a malevolent force that sought to subjugate the forest for eternity, and the guardians who had long safeguarded its sanctity. As the traveler deciphered the cryptic words, they realized that the banishment of the forest spirit had only been the beginning of an even greater struggle, one that would test their resolve and push the limits of their understanding of the natural world. And so, armed with newfound knowledge and an unyielding determination, the traveler embarked on a quest to uncover the truth behind the prophecy and prepare for the looming confrontation that would decide the fate of the ancient forest. Emboldened by the knowledge of the ancient prophecy, the traveler sought out the guardians of the forest, hoping to gain insight into the looming threat and to prepare for the impending confrontation. These guardians were ethereal beings, spirits of light and purity who had protected the forest since time immemorial. As the traveler ventured deeper into the woods, guided by whispers and omens, they encountered the guardians in a secluded glade bathed in shimmering moonlight. The guardians, ancient and wise, listened intently as the traveler recounted the signs of the looming darkness and the cryptic warnings of the old prophecy. The guardians nodded solemnly, their eyes filled with the weight of centuries. They confirmed the traveler's fears, speaking of an ancient malevolence that sought to plunge the forest into eternal shadow, a force that had long slumbered but now stirred once more. With a heavy heart, the guardians spoke of the great conflict that lay ahead, a battle that would echo through the ages and determine the fate of the forest and all who dwelled within its embrace. They entrusted the traveler with the knowledge needed to rally allies, to seek out ancient artifacts and rituals that could tip the balance in the looming confrontation. Armed with the wisdom of the guardians, the traveler set out on a perilous quest, their path lined with trials and challenges, as they sought to untangle the threads of the ancient prophecy and gather the means to stand against the impending darkness. The journey led them to forgotten temples and hidden libraries, where they uncovered secrets and powers long lost to the annals of time, each step bringing them closer to the inevitable clash between light and shadow. And as they pressed forward, the traveler knew that every discovery, every ally gained, would be crucial in the looming battle that would decide the destiny of the ancient forest. As the traveler delved deeper into their quest, They encountered ancient beings and wise creatures that had long inhabited the forest, each holding a key piece of the puzzle that would help in the looming conflict. They sought out the guidance of the ancient tree elders, venerable spirits that held the knowledge of the forest's deepest secrets and the ways to harness its primal energies. The traveler also sought the aid of mystical creatures that roamed the forest, from elusive fairies to enigmatic spirits, forming alliances and earning their trust with promises of protection and preservation of their sacred home. In their search for artifacts of power, the traveler unearthed relics of forgotten battles and the remnants of lost civilizations, each one holding a fragment of the forest's history and the means to bolster their strength against the encroaching darkness. The travelers' efforts did not go unnoticed, for as they journeyed through the woods, tales of their quest began to spread among the denizens of the forest. Some regarded them with skepticism, wary of the promises of salvation from a darkness they had long accepted as an immutable part of their realm. Others, however, saw hope in the travelers' tireless determination and banded together, preparing to stand shoulder to shoulder against the impending threat. Finally, as the traveler gathered the last remnants of power and allies, they stood at the precipice of a great awakening. The looming confrontation between the forces of light and shadow drawing ever closer. The fate of the ancient forest hung in the balance, and the traveler knew that the final battle would test their resolve and the strength of their newfound alliances. And so, with the weight of prophecy resting heavy on their shoulders, the travelers steeled themselves for the inevitable clash that would determine the destiny of the old, enchanted woods. The days leading up to the impending confrontation were fraught with tension, as the traveler and their allies made final preparations. The forest, once a place of serene beauty, crackled with an undercurrent of energy, a palpable sense of anticipation that hung heavy in the air. The creatures of the woods, from the smallest woodland creatures to the mighty guardians themselves, stood on the edge of readiness, their eyes filled with a mixture of fear and determination. As the dark clouds brewed on the horizon, the traveler gathered their allies in a clearing bathed in the gentle glow of moonlight, the silvery beams casting an otherworldly luminescence upon the assembled gathering. The guardians spoke of the ancient rituals that would bind their strengths together to create a barrier against the encroaching darkness, and imbue them with the essence of the forest's indomitable spirit. Each ally, from the wise tree elders to the mystical fairies, contributed to the ritual, lending their unique energies in a harmonious symphony that echoed through the woods. As the incantations reached a crescendo, or radiant energy surged through the assembled warriors, their resolve bolstered by a newfound sense of unity and purpose. In the hushed moments before the final battle, the traveler sought solace in the tranquility of the forest, reflecting upon the journey that had brought them to this pivotal moment. They knew that the outcome of the looming conflict would chart a new course for the ancient woods, and the burden of such responsibility weighed heavily upon their shoulders. The signs of the impending conflict grew more apparent with each passing moment, as whispers of encroaching darkness echoed through the trees, and the rustling leaves seemed to convey the foreboding tales of battles long forgotten. Yet, amidst the gathering storm, the traveler found a glimmer of hope in the steadfast determination of their allies and the unyielding spirit of the forest itself. They knew that the time had come to stand against the encroaching darkness, to protect the ancient woods and ensure that its legacy endured. And as the final hour drew near, the traveler and their allies stood ready, their hearts steeled for the inevitable clash that would decide the fate of the enchanted realm.